Hello friends, vinyl community, music lovers. Welcome to another episode of the Vinyl Survivor. This is where we take 5 new to me albums from my inbox or new purchases, clean them up, give them a listen, and let you know what I thought of them and let you know whether they're survivors and whether they're going in my collection for good or whether they're going away. But first, before we get into that, I just wanted to do a little commentary, a little a statement, a state of the channel here address. I've been noticing something in the VC recently, and I just can't keep quiet about it anymore. And that's just the excessive amounts of facial hair that's going on in the VC. I don't really understand it. I'm just going to go ahead and state it right here, right now, that this channel, the SupraWes channel, is an anti-facial hair channel. We're not going to be doing any facial hair here. So, with that being said, okay, that's better. This is officially a facial hair free zone. So let's go ahead and get into this batch of records. Alright, first thing we have here is an album from 1977. This is from Johnny Guitar Watson. This is titled A Real Mother For Ya. I was really expecting to like this album. You know, I thought it would be great guitar, funky guitar music, but overall it just didn't really catch me. Really, it didn't do anything for me. It was okay, but it just wasn't great. It wasn't something I think that I'll want to re-listen to over and over again in the future. I mean, I just don't see myself listening to this. I'll show you the vinyl here. Pretty cool label on this one. It's DJM Records, label I haven't seen before in the past. But yeah, I don't really know much more to say about this. I mean, it wasn't really funky where I really liked it. It was just a little bit funky, and it was just kind of boring. So it didn't do much for me, and not going to be going in the collection. And this one was $1.25 at the library sale. So that's where I picked that one up at some point in the past few years. Alright, next up we have another concert album. This is Simon and Garfunkel for a concert in Central Park. The concert took place in 1981, and this album was released in 1982. Sort of like somewhat of a reunion for them. If they gotten back together for more than just this one concert, or not, but it's a pretty good concert. They do, you know, all the classic Simon and Garfunkel songs. There's a lot of Paul Simon songs on, you know, solo songs on here. Some interesting things. Let's see here. A cool inner gatefold on this one. There's a picture of the show. And yeah, just a lot of great songs on here. 2 LP set. Mrs. Robinson, Homeward Bound, America, Me and Julio Down by the Schoolyard, Scarborough Fair, April Will She Come, Wake Up Little Susie, Still Crazy After All These Years, American Tune, Late in the Evening, Slip Sliding Away, Heart in New York, Kodachrome, Bridge Over Troubled Waters, 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover, The Boxer, Old Friends, 59th Street Bridge Song, and they close with The Sound of Silence, of course. And this is on sort of that tan Warner Brothers label. I forgot, there's actually a book that went along with this one as well. Bunch of stuff. Bunch of pictures and lyrics and whatnot, so that's a nice little bonus piece there for that. So yeah, thoroughly enjoyed this. Sounds really good for a live recording. You know, so it sort of gives you that. It doesn't sound like a recording of a live recording. It sounds like you're there at the show, which is how I like them to sound. Good piece for the collection. I'm happy to have this. I picked this up for $1 at the Webster Flea Market, further down south of here. Flea market that happens on Mondays. So it's kind of an odd flea market, but occasionally on a Monday I'll head down there if I have, if I have a Monday off, I'll head down there, do some record shopping. It's a fun place to go. All right, next up we have a comedy album here. This is Red Fox's At Home on MF Records. Let's see, I don't have a date on here. There is the back label, looks like, and I don't know if you can see down there at the bottom, it says electronically re-recorded to simulate stereo. That's another one that always gets me. I don't understand why a comedy album needs to be in stereo, unless it's like the Smothers Brothers or something. You know, why does a solo comedian need to be in stereo? I guess that was at the time when stereo was the big thing and everything had to be stereo. Which I'm a fan of stereo personally, as when it comes to music, but for comedy, I don't think we need stereo comedy. But yeah, I mean, this is Red Fox. Overall, I'm not really a fan of Red Fox. I've listened to his comedy before. I've listened to a few other albums of his, and he's just okay. You know, he's not my cup of tea when it comes to comedy, I guess. He's Red Fox at Home, fun to listen to, but not going in the collection. Alright, next up we have an album from the Rolling Stones. This is from 1981, their album Tattoo You. And of course this one is the one that has Start Me Up on it. Pretty decent album from the Stones when it comes to the 80s. I mean, it's a pretty good sounding album. There's the inner sleeve here. Nice moire effect there. And of course this is on Rolling Stone Records. And there is a Master Disc RL in the dead wax. So this was mastered by Robert Ludwig at Master Disc. And there is an EDP with a circle around it. So it was pressed at Europa Disc in New York. Good quality stuff here. This album does sound very good. Really nice album. A lot of people don't like the 80s Stones stuff. I tend to think it's okay myself. You know, I'm not a huge Stones fan, but I do appreciate the Stones, and I don't hate them, and I like to listen to them from time to time. So anything from the 60s through today is fine with me when it comes to the Stones. I'm not that picky. It's all okay to me. Tattoo You. I paid $3 for this at the library sale. They kind of overpriced it a bit for the library sale. This is an album find it in dollar bins a lot and whatnot, but it was a really nice clean copy, so I went ahead and grabbed it. Okay, the last thing we have up on the chopping block, so to speak, today is the soundtrack to the movie Platoon from 1987. Cool find on vinyl here. Of course, this has sort of the main track, Adagio for strings, and then there's a lot of sort of songs from the time period, or you know, right before the time period. You got Tracks in My Tears, Smokey Robinson, Hello I Love You, The Doors, Jefferson Airplane, White Rabbit, Sitting on the Dock of the Bay, Groovin'. And yeah, pretty good soundtrack overall. It sort of has some clips from the movie mixed in there, and you sort of get a feel of the overall movie. And it's a cool piece. I mean, I do like collecting soundtracks. This one's actually a promo copy there. And this is on the orange and green Atlantic label. Atlantic Studios DK, which is Dennis King, is the mastering engineer on this album. And we have a big S with an R and C in it, so it's pressed at Specialty Records Corp. So yeah, that's the soundtrack to Platoon. Nice little soundtrack there. Nice addition to my soundtrack collection. So I want to thank you for watching another episode of the Vinyl Survivor. This time we got 3 that made it, 2 that didn't. It was a pretty good episode. Hope everyone has a great weekend. spin some records. If you get a chance, go out to a flea market or a garage sale or something and do a little digging. And yeah, thanks again. We'll see you real soon. Cheers.